Well, I finally finished the second BP1. I was gonna fire it up, but my pull rope broke. So instead of doing that, I'm doing this video. Anyway, I'm doing this video because I would like to show the comparisons that I have found between the two variations of BP1 that they made. Of course, here's some literature that I have. Show that off. Always like to do that. Spec sheet there. It's always nice to have a manual. So without further ado, alright, this model here is the first variation they made back in 1962, January of 62. So right off, they look very similar, but this has a bigger spark plug clearance here compared to the later model in October. So when you take it off, not sure if you'll be able to see, the cylinder fins on this model are shorter in comparison to this model. You can almost see against the muffler here the height variation, height difference there of the fins. When running this saw, it is extremely hot on this top cover. So I imagine this was done to alleviate that and the overheating issue. Also, this model does not have a capture nut inside the oil tank. You physically have to have a wrench to hold it, whereas this model has a capture for the nut to sit in there. The first model has a plastic points cover, where the October model, has a magnesium points cover. Both models had the auto sharp chain and automac bars, as seen. Get you a close up of the chain. Let's see, right there. They also had a model where it was just a standard tooth profile. This, if I remember correctly, is the AR8, and the standard tooth profile is the AC8 that would run on the automac bars. I might have that backwards. I'm not 100% on that. Both of these saws, I have put a 404 spur sprocket on to alleviate the issue of the hard to find chain. Another difference is when you look at the gas tanks, you can see in the top right corner of the October model that there's a screw here. That screw is there because on the January model, there's a capture on the tank, and you have to get a screw and your screwdriver through the handle assembly to tighten the handle assembly with the tank. It is a PIA, if you know what that means. This model was very easy to assemble. I'm not saying that one's hard, but it takes a little more work to do. This gas tank also has a fiber gasket to seal them. There's a service bulletin when this tank was made that suggests to use a silicone sealant instead of the gasket. This model here also features a felt, having a brain fart right now, having a felt duckbill basically on the back side of the tank here, about where my finger is. There's no duckbill inside the cap. On this model, it's completely sealed on the tank, so you have to have a duckbill inside the cap on this one. Let's see. Serial numbers on these were not stamped on the cylinders. They were stamped on the gear case. This one, for example, is reading it. 3,466. So typically they're stamped on the early models right on top of the gear case in that location. Where the October models are always stamped in this location off the coil post. And this one's 7,833. Now it also tells you the gear ratio on the late models on the front of the gear case. So this, for instance, is a 2-to-1 ratio. I could not remember at the moment if this one says. I didn't think it does. It does not. I'm not 100% on what the ratio is. I've not figured it out. Needless to say, I haven't taken the time to do it. I found that the muffler from this model does not interchange with this model. There was a difference in the elbow bracket, essentially here, and the length was different. Besides that, they're the same for the most part. The carburetor on this model is supposed to be, I found a service bulletin that explained this carburetor. It has a high jet that you are supposed to find the set point and then shellac over top of it to permanently set it in place to keep it from moving. This model here has a totally adjustable high jet that you can totally adjust. So yeah, fumbling on my words here. I think that is about it. Yeah, hope to get this one running here soon and to end the video on some noise. And we're out of fuel. So that's good.